while ago, I would have definitely said that I'm the monogamy girl. But now that I've been single for a really long time and I love my space, and I love my life, I I don't necessarily know if that would work for me, you know, or if I would have the expectations that it would work for somebody else. You know, let's just say that we don't live in the same state. And a lot of times the success of a relationship depends on proximity, you know, geography. And
I wanna I wanna stop real quick. What I've noticed is a lot of times people when they're talking about relationships, they're always saying what works for me. What for me, and I think we all can kind of get caught up in that, right? Because there is some personalization to relationships. There are some uniqueness about all of us. However, there are also some things that are just fundamental in every relationship. Like if you're gonna have a healthy relationship, if you're gonna have a wholesome relationship, if you're gonna have a relationship that's pleasing to God, that's selfless, that's servitude one to another, you have to have some foundational things in place that say what relationships are. And I believe that God says established what a foundation of a relationship. Like, yeah, I just did a video earlier about to where people were talking about they want someone who works out, and I agree. You can have someone who works out. That's more like customizable, preference. But in terms of monogamy, listen, there's nothing new under the sun. Lack of monogamy has never led to a healthy ending or a happy, successful relationship, marriage. It never has. When we look in the Bible, when we look at people who are practicing it now, current day, it's always chaotic. It's always self-centered. It's always confusing because we weren't meant to have multiple romantic connections. We weren't meant to have romantic connections with multiple people all at once. That's just not how it was designed. We weren't designed that way. And what I hear from her is her saying, I like being single. So it's what she likes, what she wants. And it's her life in a sense, right? Well, it's her life, right? God gave it to her. But when you say these kind of things, you got to understand that it's not just going to, expose how she thinks, but it's going to expose how she views God's way. And I'm going to start the video over from the beginning, but it sounds like a whole bunch of, I want to do it my way. Let me start it over from the beginning and play it.
a while ago, I would have definitely said that I'm the monogamy girl. But now that I've been single for a really long time and I love my space,
I love my space.
and I love my life,
I love my life.
I don't necessarily know if that would work for me, you know?
Work for me.
Or if I would if
Exactly. She love her space. She love her life. She'll know if it'll work for her. She wants it to revolve around what she wants. And I can guarantee you this. You know what I'm saying? She feels this way now. She meets a guy. They really like each other. All that goes out the door after a while. All this kind of talk about, well, that's how I feel right now, it changes. Anybody, men and women, like who have experience, know that when people talk like this, make sure y'all can hear me. When they talk like this, before being in relationships, when they do get in a relationship with someone that they actually like, and they start exchanging affection and expressions and spending time, all this, I don't mind sharing, and you could be in a different place and I be in a different place and I'm good with that. All that changes after a while. And she's old enough to know better than that.
or if I would have the expectations that it would work for somebody else. You know, let's just say that we don't live in the same state. And a lot of times the success of a relationship depends on proximity, geography. And I don't know if I would want to have that level of responsibility for somebody else, to be their sole source of pleasure if if I'm busy and I'm traveling, working and whatever else, I don't think that would necessarily be fair. But this is me going into my 50s. So my mindset has changed drastically over the last few years. And I'm just a whole lot more open-minded than my younger self would have ever believed me to be.
Yeah, open-minded as in like I'm doing what I want because what I really want isn't working out for me. Listen, ain't nothing new under the sun. Like my mama say, it's nothing worse than the fool. Nothing worse than the fool than an old fool. You're going into your 50s. You know that monogamy is God's design and is the best for humanity and for healthy relationships. Trying to build a connection with multiple people. And then, like her excuse is, well, I don't know if I want to bear the responsibility of being solely responsible for someone's pleasure. Why get into a relationship? Why get married if you don't want to be? And I mean, I don't think anyone is solely responsible for someone's pleasure, and that leads into another topic. But you have a part to play in building a healthy and wholesome relationship and marriage. And being part of that aspect of pleasure is important. If you think that the world has been in existence for all this time and polygamy hasn't worked yet, but you think somehow it's going to work for you because you're heading into your 50s and you like your space and you like the way your life is right now, which all these things are going to change if and when she was to meet a man that would be like, oh, okay, cool. This is another way of, like, in my personal opinion, this is just another way of fishing. Like, hey, I'm gonna throw this out there. I want some men to think that I'm open-minded. She's not open-minded. Well, I can't say what she is or isn't because I don't know for sure. But if she was thinking opposite of this all her life, like she said she was, and then now all of a sudden her mind is more open, trust me, when she get into the thick of that relationship, she's gonna, or the thick of things where she's having feelings and one deeper connection, all that lack of monogamy is gonna go out the window. She's gonna want to know, if she's the only one, if she's number one, and nothing new under the sun, people, nothing. And that's I guess that's what I would say you could take away from this video. Like, it's okay for us to feel a certain way, like, and to talk these things out. Like, hey, I've been feeling like, I want to be a bit more open-minded, because what I've been doing hasn't worked for me. So maybe I need to be more open about, like, not just looking for something monogamous. And that's when you have the right people, the right fellowship, the right community in your life that's able to, like, say, hey, sis, hey, bro, I understand how you feel, but there's nothing new under the sun. Monogamy is God's best. Monogamy is healthy. Take your time, be patient, and wait for someone who's aligned and looking for monogamy, who's looking to have love, and go from there. But trying to change how relationships work altogether because of how your life is and how you're thinking now, or because you want something and you're like, well, I haven't gotten it so far, let me change how I think, or let me change how I approach it. Sometimes that's healthy to reflect and revisit some things, but to try to, like, completely flip how relationships work to upside down, like to say, well, it's supposed to be monogamy, where now it's like, well, nah, it doesn't have to be that for me. You're automatically setting yourself up for failure. And as they say, you don't need to reinvent the wheel because it's already been done. The research and the results and the outcome has already been revealed. Polygamy doesn't work. Monogamy is God's design. Sis, if you're feeling like, what I'm saying, you like your space, your life, find somebody who you could be, monogamous with, that understand, like, some of the dynamics of, like, alone time. But people just be talking, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, Connect with the brand online at www.there'shopebrand.com and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.